after he was jailed for 7 years, when he was released, did he go to exile or he stayed in Kenya?
Yes, he's a politician, but early on, he understood that dynamic of the guys who are in the diaspora. And I think that his years of not being at home and then, going into exile, those things played a critical role in how he looked at the diaspora and understanding that thing of, if you need to raise money, you need to go and get your money from outside.
This is the One Mic Show. After Raila was finally released from prison, he wasted no time stepping into the political arena. In 1992, he contested the Lang'ata parliamentary seat under Ford Kenya and went on to defeat the 3-term KANU incumbent Philip Liki, who, by the way, was the brother to the late conservationist Dr. Richard Liki. The win was historic. It marked Raila's official entry into multi-party politics and the start of a long journey as a people's representative. The interesting thing, Raila was 47 years old when he first became a member of parliament. 47. Yeah, as in even older than I am right now, for those who want to know my age. But yeah, so he was 47 years old when he
by
got
6
in.
months.
Because people think
People think he started early.
people think he started very early,
yeah.
but he was
he
47 years old when he got
He was
started.
locked up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. Now, Omosh, what we want to know at that time when Raila was being released from prison, I think it was a time you're either coming here, you're already here in the diaspora. It was around that time. Were Kenyans abroad really talking about Raila then, or was he still living under the towering shadow of his father, Mzee Jaramogi Odinga, who was still alive at the time? DJ Omosh.
So I was already here.
Yeah.
So when all of this was going down,
Airlift.
yeah, I came with the airlift.
Oh, sorry.
So when all of this was going down, it's like, it's almost like a transition, right? From him to his dad. However, it's like he resonated with the younger voters. And something that he did, which a lot of the other politicians seemed not to get, was he actually started pretty early coming to the diaspora to get the diaspora involved in what was happening at home. Like he would actually come, then there would be people who would, it might be like a loose town hall. It's not something that's official, but it's amongst certain circles, like people, watu wanajuana, it's like ali vile watu wa nyumbani munaitana na watu wanajua, okay, we have baba nani amekuja kutoka home, so he's a guy who kind of like, and then a lot of the folks who are here and had stayed or was like, I guess now had come in and they were starting to have families and stuff, are guys who are either about his age mates or guys who he kind of went to school with. So those are the ones who are like they say, the parents of the guys, of the kids. So when he comes, he's now Uncle Nani.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yes, he's a politician, but early on, he understood that dynamic of the guys who are in the diaspora. And I think that his years of not being at home and then, going into exile, those things played a critical role in how he looked at the diaspora and understanding that thing of, if you need to raise money, you need to go and get your money from outside. Because those guys, you can sit down, have a conversation with them, and they will give you the money. Because he was a diaspora guy.
Okay,
you see?
Yeah, that's quite interesting. Yeah.
So that was the difference then. And then at some point, then now, of course, now we see how things have morphed years later with everybody who is campaigning. They all come here now, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, they've understood the game that there's money and we have discretionary monies, and we would, throw you a loose 20 or 30, which goes a longer way than 100 bob from somebody in Kenya, quote unquote, for lack of a better word. But again, he's one of those jamas who pretty early on understood how to deal with the diaspora and had lots of friends in the diaspora who kind of related with him on a one-on-one basis, and then also as a politician.
So let me ask a question. So after he was jailed for 7 years, when he was released, did he go Did he go to exile or he stayed in Kenya?
No, he went to exile. He came
Okay.
out. Then
went to- was it Norway?
Ali Hepa.
Yeah.
Ali Hepa.
Hepa,
Yeah,
okay.
because and it's those things you're told, hey boss, hapa usipotoka.
Because he
It's a
was
wrap.
actually rearrested at some
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
Yes. He was rearrested and then released again. Now before he got into campaign mode after what was that called? Section 2A was repealed. Multipartyism was allowed. The other parties were formed and people started campaigning on different parties. Actually, interesting. The first.
When was Section 2A repealed?
It
91, right?
was 91. Yes.
91.
Yes,
So
it was
when
1991.
was the Norway thing? Way
Before.
It was before. I think he was
before.
released around 89.
And
89
how
is
long
when
did
he was
stay
released.
in Norway?
Sasa or maybe Omosh,
I think
let us know.
I think I'll check, but I don't think he stayed there long.
Long.
Maybe 2
Yeah.
years or something
What made
like
him
that.
confident to come back? Because
I think they repealed.
Moi was still the president.
Yes.
The
Correct.
repeal of 2A.
Correct,
No?
but now you can campaign.
No.
And it's not only him. Kuna watu wengi. You know,
Yeah.
ukiwa mtu moja unatolewa peke yako.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lakini watu wako wengi.
Wengi,
Yeah.
yeah.
Guys were
You
many.
know,
I personally
the majority
Yeah.
of the university students who were jailed at that particular time ended up in other countries, because it was the point even when they were freed, when they filed an annulled prosecute and they were freed, most of them couldn't be hired. Most of them couldn't be given their graduation papers. So it was a matter of you figuring out how are you going to help yourself. And that was life in another country. You're not going to jail, but you're never going to be anything for yourself. So that is why most of them came to here and other countries. Now, when multipartyism was allowed, those who had political ambition went back to the country, went back to Kenya, and they were able to join the different multi-parties, and they forged and worked with those. When the government was arresting, they didn't arrest everybody. So they worked with those who were back in the country and who had forged careers for themselves, maybe in law and other areas, and they were able to start their political careers. So it was not a matter of of making a decision based on how things are. It was a matter of making decisions based on the circumstances and which path you had chose to live. There are some who that stint in industrial area, because even if it was you and you're a university student, you're in college, and you spend more than 3 years in jail, and then when you come out, you're told you can't graduate, you don't have a life in the country, you're going to move out if
Yeah.
you get a chance.
Yeah. Okay.
But
Again.
question,
Yeah,
was
go
his
ahead.
father alive?
Yes, his father was alive. Yeah,
Okay,
his
so-
father died in 1994, and we're gonna come to that. Yeah, and I was actually saying, I remember my first encounter with Raila Odinga. I remember things very vividly. I was 11 years old. He was campaigning for the Langata parliamentary seat. He had come. We did not know who he was at that time. He had come to. For those who are familiar with the South Sea area, I used to attend madrasa there. For those who don't know, madrasa is religious school. So I used to attend madrasa there. Right now, it's a fully fledged integrated school. But at that time, it was only madrasa where we were studying the Quran and all that. So Raila actually came, and if my memory serves me right, I think he was accompanied by the late Bamariz, who was also a politician. Who was also a politician. Was also in the Ford formation, when Ford was being formed. So I remember he came, and the kids who were there, we started following him around. He was being shown around by the administrators who were responsible there, because the place was still fresh, it was still being built. So I remember that's the first encounter, and I remember he was in like a gray suit. It was like a gray counter suit, like short sleeves. I have this knack of remembering very small details. But later on is when we got to see him on posters and on TV. He was running against Of course, he was running against on a KANU ticket, Philip Liki. And he was running on a Ford Kenya ticket, because remember Ford split to Ford Asili and Ford Kenya. So he was running on a Ford Kenya ticket. Philip Liki was running on a KANU ticket, and then there was another candidate called Kimani Warugendo who was running on Ford Asili. And I remember this because these posters were all over. I've never understood why in Kenyan campaigns unapata wall kama hii hapa, you have like 500 posters of the same person. Kimani Warugendo, all over the place. And then side Yigine,
I tell you.
And then now Raila's folks would come and tear them up. And then the other side where there's Raila's, like photos, Kimani Warugendo's folks would come and tear them up. So it was a very interesting.
Now all over the place.
Yes, it was very interesting dynamic at the time.
That I never understand. Hizo flyer mngepeleka kwa wall ingine. Mnaweka flyer zote za mtu mmoja kwa one wall.
No, the idea, what was explained to me, the idea was for this picture to stay on your mind so much that by the time unaenda kupiga kura, because kwa kura unaona picha, that picture is in your mind. So I think it works. Yeah, so I think it works.